Good Thursday evening, everyone. It's another edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. We're going to take a real deep dive into our local weather here for the next handful of days. We're going to take a look at the longer range as well as usual in this video. We try to show you some things that I don't have time to show you on TV. And just a quick review of today. First of all, this is a 12-hour radar loop showing our snow showers coming and going. And, in between these snow showers, we had some breaks of sun. It actually wasn't half bad outside when you weren't seeing a snow squall, but some of these squalls really meant some business earlier on today. We had some local whiteout conditions or near whiteout conditions. The last of these squalls moved through right around sunset this evening. Just as I was going on the air on 21 News at 6, we had a couple of squalls that this one moved through the Boardman area, caused a few slick spots right along 224 and other surrounding zones, and then we also had a couple of heavier snow showers right around 6 o'clock down towards Unity, and this is mostly east of Columbia and over towards East Palestine, and then heading over into Beaver and Lawrence counties in PA. So these came and went today. Local problems here and there, but at least we weren't dealing with this. This is a 12-hour loop of the massive snowstorm over the Northeast. This is just textbook stuff. This is the kind of stuff you see in meteorology textbooks. This kind of rapidly deepening low-pressure system off the coast of New England. This produced widespread 12 to 18-inch snow amounts. Thunder snow. The radar was really cool to watch with this earlier on today. Really neat to see one of these play out in real time, and nice to look at it from afar. We didn't have to deal with it, which is always a bonus. All right, so our snow on the ground here locally, I live in Boardman. I probably have about 2 inches on the ground, inch and a half, 2 inches. And I think that's fairly common across Mahoning County, closer to an inch in a lot of Trumbull County, and southeastern Mercer, Lawrence, and then kind of the southeastern half of Columbiana County, as we told you about. That's the area that not only got hit the hardest with our actual storm 24 hours ago, but also we had residual snow showers on top of that today. So some places have a few inches of snow on the ground south and east of Youngstown. Look at all the snow on the ground over Pennsylvania, central and eastern Pennsylvania especially. New York City, up to Providence and Boston, and a lot of the snow up in northern New England was on the ground already, but in Harrisburg and New York City and State College in Altoona, PA, and up to Boston, this is all fresh snow cover. Here's a time-lapse from our weather camera in Columbiana showing breaks of sun, and then snow showers rolled back in. Very convective-looking sky today, pretty classic-looking snow squall sky today. This is the way the sky oftentimes looks when you see these hit-or-miss snow squalls moving across the region. Again, showed this graphic a few times this winter. You may be surprised to see that we are above average for the snow officially at the airport. Now, of course, your mileage varies on this, and if you don't live near the airport, and even if you do live near the airport, you might say this number seems a little high, but hey, this is the official number. I have talked to the National Weather Service in Cleveland before about, hey, the YNG airport snow totals always seem a little bit high by some degree, and they didn't disagree. But anyway, this is what the numbers are. 44 inches so far this winter. Average is 40 through this date. Last year, up through February 9th, we only had 15 inches of snow. Whoops, I didn't mean to make myself disappear there. So we are above average, but notice how we kind of stick out. Cleveland is 18 inches below average. Columbus, almost 10 inches below average. Pittsburgh's almost 5 inches below average. And Buffalo's a whopping 2 feet below average. So this is kind of an anomaly. I don't have Erie on this map, but Erie's actually above average like we are. At least last I looked. They're at least closer to average. So we're not totally alone on this, but it is, again, a little bit of an anomaly across the region. All right, let's start talking about the future. This may be a little hard to see on this satellite. We've got some snow on the ground, and this isn't the greatest satellite to use when there's snow on the ground. But if you look carefully, there's some clearing trying to go on to our north and west. You could actually see the moon when I was coming back from my dinner break. And tonight's low temperature forecast will greatly depend on how much of a clear sky we have for how many hours. If we squeeze together a handful of hours where the sky is pretty clear, it's going to get pretty cold tonight. We've got fresh snow on the ground. It's a true Arctic air mass. The model I'm going to show you here is the high-resolution rapid refresh model. This is our highest resolution short-term model that we typically have at our disposal. And sometimes it doesn't do the sky cover right, and therefore its temperatures are off on nights like this. Now, if the sky will turn as clear as the model thinks, this is how cold it might get in your backyard tonight. Again, depends on the sky cover. If the sky isn't clear enough, it won't get this cold. But this is a possibility anyway that we see a lot of single digits by tomorrow morning. So what does that mean for the wind chills? Well, the wind will continue to diminish some overnight. I don't think the wind chills are going to get out of hand. I mean, I think 0 to 2 or 3 below will be a good average for tomorrow morning in terms of the wind chills. All right, so tomorrow starts out with a peak or two of sun, but it's going to cloud up pretty quick. Warm front's heading our way, and this front can produce a little bit of snow or just some flurries, especially north of I-80. Tomorrow, early afternoon, don't think that accumulates, no big deal. In the wake of the warm front, it's going to warm up, of course, this weekend. Now, it's not going to be a bright and sunny day Saturday, but hey, lower 50s in February, I don't mind. A pretty uneventful day otherwise, small chance of a late day shower. Best chance to get wet's actually late Saturday night into Sunday morning with this low pressure system moving through. Now, you may have noticed our high temperature forecast has gone down for both days this weekend, but especially on Sunday. The modeling is showing this low pressure system not tracking as far north as it did previously, so we're not going to see as strong of a surge of warm air coming in with this farther south low track. We'll be close to the boundary between the warmth and the cool air. So I had to back off our high temperature forecast for the weekend to 52 both days. Still well above average for February, of course. Outside chance of a shower on Saturday and rain likely at least through about lunchtime on Sunday, maybe pretty scattered in nature, those rain showers by Sunday afternoon. So a balmy weekend. Now next week will not be that balmy. Here's a look at the jet stream pattern. So we go into the medium range here. Here's our warm-up for the weekend with a ridge of high pressure across the east. But a pretty good-looking trough's going to come down, and we'll get into a solid northwest flow here at the jet stream level middle of next week. And that's going to send our temperatures back to about average. It's not going to be super cold, but it'll send us back to where we should be in the middle of February for a couple of days, middle of next week. Don't put away the winter jacket just yet. But as we've been talking about, the longer range looks pretty darn mild. The jet stream, as we go into that kind of 8 to 14 day period, is going to feature our low pressure system retreating up through eastern Canada and more of a ridge starting to set up shop across the middle of the country and a fire hose jet across the west coast of the U.S. When California is cool and stormy, usually downstream of that you get a ridge popping up, and that usually means warmth for a lot of the eastern two-thirds of the country. So here's the 8 to 14 day outlook. Yeah, much above average, it looks like, in the high plains, the front range of the Rockies, into parts of the Midwest. For eastern Ohio, western PA, above average is the call for now in the 8 to 14 day period. I think it is a good possibility we're going to see some highs in the 50s for at least a couple of days again. Next weekend, not this coming weekend, not in a couple days, but the following weekend, right around the 20th to the 23rd of the month, roughly. That looks like a pretty balmy period. Thanks for tuning in for Weather Geeks tonight. Tonight on 21 News at 11, I will show you what's going on with the temperatures. We'll see if they're dropping like a rock or kind of holding steady with the clouds, so you can prepare for your morning plans tomorrow. Do you need to really bundle up or just sort of bundle up? I'll have an update at 11. Have a great night, everyone.